Dude, the best way I can sum this movie up is Marvel, please take the Spider-Man rights away from Sony. What's up, you guys? It's Jonathan Carter back with another J. Carter Movies. Today, we are going to be reviewing Venom: The Last Dance. If you're unfamiliar with everything happening in this Sony Spider-Man universe, Sony and Marvel Studios, the ones that make the MCU movies, share the rights to Spider-Man. Tom Holland gets to be in the MCU movies, and then Marvel Studios and Sony co-produce Spider-Man movies together, like No Way Home, Far From Home, Homecoming, all of those movies, Tom Holland's trilogy. And then Sony gets the rights to the other Spider-Man villains, mythos. That's why we have these random movies of Venom, Madam Web, Morbius, Kraven the Hunter later this year that are in the Spider-Man like mythos, but don't actually feature Spider-Man. That's why we've gotten a Venom trilogy without Spider-Man. 3 movies, no Spider-Man. Spoilers, whatever. There's no Spider-Man. And I just find every Sony Spider-Man adjacent movie just so exhausting. The only redeemable one, in my opinion, is the first Venom. That's the only one that I find any enjoyment out of. All the rest of them, I just am not a fan of them. I don't think I'm alone in that. I mean, these movies are like critically bombed, but people love the character of Venom, so that's why he gets the trilogy. I think Tom Hardy plays the character well. I think there are some redeemable qualities in these movies, but not much. So just some backstory on how I feel about the movies, why we got a Venom movie without Spider-Man, all this stuff. And before we jump into this review with the positives, please be sure to like and subscribe. That would really, really help me out a lot. Also, I just launched a podcast over on Spotify. It'll just be like this version of the video, just in audio format. Whenever you're driving or looking for something to fall asleep to, go ahead and check that out under the same name, J. Carter Movies, over on Spotify. All that being said, let's jump into the positives. Some redeemable things about this movie, like I said at the beginning, Tom Hardy plays the character well. I do have a hard time understanding him. That's been in like all the Venom movies. It's hard to pick up like the voice that he's using, but he does play the character well. And as far as CGI and like symbiote action, you're going to get that here. The CGI looks good for the most part. I don't know if the budget was limited in some scenes, but you get CGI action, you get symbiote action there at the end, and then you get a cool introduction with Noel, like the symbiote god. Beside that, that's really like all on a surface level. That's really all I can say. That will bring us into the mixed. As far as the mixed, there is a like heartfelt touching moment towards the end of the movie. How the movie ends, I'm not going to go into that, but where the characters end up, Eddie and Venom, there is a heartfelt kind of road trip back through the 3 movies. And if you've seen the movie, like, you know what I'm talking about. That is redeemable about the movie. But what ruins it is the montage at the end has a Maroon 5 song played over it, the memory song, the just the ones that we got. And it just like, man, the balance, the tone is just all over the place with this movie and all of these Sony movies. And it's just like, take a good thing and then ruin it with something else. And that kind of just explains the whole movie, because also with the mixed, you get symbiote action, but you get that at the end of the movie. And then the rest of the movie is just this like road trip of Eddie and Venom and some lore thrown in there that doesn't make any sense or isn't needed at all. And it just feels, it's like, here's some things that you want in a Venom movie, and then here's a bunch of other stuff that you don't want, and you're gonna have to wait till the end to get the things that you do want. And it's just, why would you do that? But I also feel like that sums up the Sony universe so well. Finishing everything out with the negatives, dude, whoever writes these movies, all these Sony movies, I'm not trying to be rude, it just like, it doesn't feel like anybody knows how to write a movie or have proper flow. The plot is just so paper thin. No character gets a character arc really outside of Eddie and Venom. And it's just like so many like, oh, look, this person shows up over here. Okay, this is going to move the plot forward. Oh, wait, let's stop and do this. And it's like, people in these Sony movies don't act like people. And there are so many examples in Venom, in Madam Web, in Morbius. I'm sure with Kraven, there's going to be the same thing. And it just, how do you have the rights to Venom and to Spider-Man and mess it up this badly? Like, just go to the comics. It's all laid out for you. You have a whole like decades of story ready to go, and you just bomb this hard. Dude, I'm not the biggest fan of these Venom movies, if you couldn't tell. I really did not enjoy this one. I thought about doing a Venom ranking of like rank the trilogy, but the three movies are all just basically the same, except the first one has like a little bit higher of redeemable qualities. And the movies aren't even like funny bad, like Tobey Maguire dancing in Spider-Man 3.
Now dig on this.
No, they're just bad. Like, little side tangent. Sony did this at the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage, like the post-credit scene that connected with No Way Home. There's a shot in that post-credit scene of like Peter Parker, Tom Holland with his mask off standing there. That's not even in No Way Home. Like, that shot doesn't exist. And to further that, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a scene here in The Last Dance that plays off of continues right after No Way Home, and the dialogue is different, even though the scene is exactly the same. And so it's just like, nobody knows what they want to do. Sony's just throwing something at the wall to see what sticks. Dude, it's a mess, and I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. So wrapping it up, I'm going to give Venom The Last Dance a 4.5 out of 10 on a see it, stream it, or skip it. Skip it. Let me know what you guys think about Venom The Last Dance and the trilogy in the comments. Did you agree with my video? Did you disagree? Please be sure to like and subscribe. Check out my reviews over on TikTok and Instagram. I do shorter versions there. And if you're interested in this in a podcast form, I just launched a podcast over on Spotify, my first review being Smile 2, which I'm going to link here if you do want to check out my review of Smile 2. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one.